In this video, I'm going to show you guys a quick tip on how to make your design stand out. What's up, guys? Thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Nate Hibbert, and this is Wingman University, where our goal is to help you guys start and scale a print-on-demand business. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at the opacity scale inside of Adobe Spark and how you can use that to make your designs a little bit more modern and stand out from the competition. I personally use this style a lot for my book covers, which I'm mostly creating for KDP. And I actually have my KDP template already opened in Spark, so let's go ahead and jump in over there. This is the template I was talking about for our KDP books. This one specifically is for a 6x9 book cover, and we got this imported in here. It's a little bit of a struggle to do this, especially the first 1 or 2 times you go ahead and do something like this. So if you guys would like to see my process or would like to see some teaching on how I am using Spark for KDP, definitely leave a comment down below. We have some teaching on that that could be helpful, and we could share some tips and tricks on that as well. So leave a comment down below if you're interested in KDP book cover creation inside of Spark. But that is not what we're covering today. We're just going to cover how I use the opacity slider. So we're going to add an image from the Find Free Photos button here inside of Spark, and cities will actually work fine. I'm just looking for an image with lots of noise. So say I was making a city journal or a notebook where I wanted a cityscape on there. I really like this darker color. That will probably make it even harder for our text to stand out, which I'm going to add. And that's going to be the trick. We're going to use the opacity slider to make our text stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and move this city icon onto our journal here, and I'm going to have to make this nice and big so it covers both the front and the back of the journal. So as I stretch this out and also think about the placement a little bit, I kind of like this triangle, so I'm going to try and get that closer to the front cover. Maybe we can make this a little bit bigger. And there we go. We kind of got this triangle on the front cover there. And I'm actually going to move that back so we can still see where the center of the book will be. I like to put a little stripe down the middle of my layout so I can see both front and back. So now that I've got this kind of where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and add in some text. I'll just call this Cyber City. It seems very futuristic, that picture does. So I'll call it Cyber City, and then I'll say notes. So we can hit done there. That's going to populate inside of our artboard, and this does have a background, but I am going to remove that because I want to add a different background on it. So we can remove that completely, and then I'm going to find a font that kind of matches this futuristic style that we're going for. So I'm just going to look through here. I think there is a good kind of futuristic font as I scroll up and down. So it's this font here. I can't even read the font on here to tell you what name it is, but it's a very futuristic looking font. It's got some weird lines and things going on in here. But as you can see, it very easily gets lost in this image in the background. So that's what we're going to be using our opacity slider for, actually on a icon. So I'm going to do this with a square, but you could do this with any background that you wanted. If you had an icon that you wanted in the background here, and I'm going to move this over our text, move the order back so our text is actually on top. And then here we can see we could do that, and that would probably work fine for a notebook, just to have this square and our text on top. But to make our design look a little bit more modern and just pop and feel a little bit more integrated with the image behind it, not just so much on top, we can use our opacity slider. So when I click on this icon, we're going to see it's the very first thing that comes up, and I'm going to just slide this down a little bit. So what the opacity slider does is basically makes this see-through. Now, if we went to 0 opacity, you can see you can barely see that box or that square that we put behind it. But if I move this to 50%, you can kind of see the color of the box and still see through back to the image. So that's what I'm saying when making it a little bit more modern. I think in like the 70s and the 60s when they were doing design, they just kind of cut stuff out and put it right on top because opacity was a very hard thing to do. So now we have the nice opacity slider. So I'm going to move this up to like 75%, so we get some of that good color, but can still see the city behind it. And then we can change our text. I would probably do black in this case, just to make it feel even more futuristic. It's kind of blending in there, but you can definitely still read what that says. Maybe not because the font's a little bit weird, but you can at least see what is on top here. So that's how I personally use the opacity slider. It's mostly for the KDP book covers. I hope that at least gives you some direction and some inspiration for how you could use a tip like this for your own design. That is just one tip that we have for Spark. If you'd like to see more videos, you can click this link up here. And if you'd like to see me actually design with this tool and use it for our print-on-demand business, we have a whole playlist down here that you guys can check out as well. But until the next video, I'll see you guys around.